Today I'm going to tell you the story about a man who meets a woman in a nice bar. And the woman turns out to be someone who she is not, but she thinks she is. Grant and his friends were enjoying the weekend. They decided to go to a tavern. So a tavern is like a bar, but it's a more upscale bar. This tavern was pretty nice. There's not a lot of riffraff going on. It's mid-America, so people look nice, but they're not overly dressed up. So no one's really wearing a suit. But Grant and his friends have kind of known this area, Rockford, as being a little pretentious. They weren't from this area, but it was really close to them. They got themselves a table and they were just enjoying themselves at the tavern. They were getting drinks and just talking and scoping out the area. One of Grant's buddies looked across and he saw a group of women sitting there. He kept looking over there, and then Grant started looking too. Grant had been at this tavern a few times before, and he recognized one of the women. She noticed they were looking at her, so she got up and walked across the tavern to go talk to the guys. She was tall and attractive. She was dressed very nicely, but not too elegant. In a flirtatious way, she started talking to the guys, but she mostly had her eyes on Grant. She introduced herself as Brittany, and then she started asking a lot of questions like, what were they up to? What do they do? Then she asked where everyone was from. And they said they were from the Grand Rapids area, except Grant said he was from Greenville. She said, "Ew, I would never live there." He asked, "Why is that?" She said, "People are just, ugh. And then the houses, they're all run down. It's just trash. Trash lives there. It's just gross. Low income. There is nothing special about that place. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. I don't know how you could live there. Don't you feel scared? I wouldn't tell anyone I live there. I would just keep quiet and I would just look for another place to live. I kind of feel sorry for you. Do you really live there? Wow. No wonder why you're over here in Rockford. It's nice, right? Way nicer. Everything's so amazing. The people, the houses. It's so clean. There's so much money here. You know, Greenville is like here. Rockford is up here. Rockford people are just so up there." Grant got upset. This woman knew nothing about him. She was flirting with him, but then putting him down for where he lived. He thought, typical Rockford girl, pretentious. She made it sound like everyone was below her. She knew everything about people based on their zip code. Well, Grant actually lived in a very nice house. He had a big property right on the lake. It was very clean. He had hiking trails very close by his house. Now, true, there were some bad parts of Greenville. Just like any other city or town may have its bad parts and its good parts. But he thought this was just rude. Then she had the audacity to ask if they would all like to go to her house for an after party. Grant said, "Yeah, we'll think about it." Then she wrote down her address on a piece of paper, and then when she walked away, Grant crumpled it up. His buddy asked him, "Why did you do that?" And Grant said, "I don't want to go there." His friend said, "No, we should go. I mean, she's got some friends, good-looking friends. I mean, she might be, but we could just hang out with her friends and have a good time." Grant said, "I don't want to go see that stupid girl." But his friends coerced him into going, and so they left the tavern and drove to her house. While they were driving, Grant conjured up this image of where she would live. So he thought, she probably lives in a big old mansion. There's going to be a butler who answers the door. There's probably going to be all these exotic cars parked outside of her house. But they show up to her house. It wasn't bad. It was an average house. So Grant thought, why is she acting all snotty and stuck up? She doesn't live in a mansion. So Grant and his friends go inside the house, and Grant did not want to stay long. But he only stayed for his buddy because his buddy really wanted to meet a potential girlfriend. So they were chit-chatting and hanging out, but after a while, Grant got really annoyed. He said, "Let's just go. This is lame." Then Brittany came over to talk to Grant, and he said, "So is this where all the rich girls from Rockford live?" So she answered, "Yes, this is my house." And he said, "Oh, it's nice." His buddy kind of saw through what Grant was doing, and he said, "Hey man, stop acting like a jerk." But then Grant thought in his head, I'm just treating her the same way she was treating me in the very beginning. They actually stayed for half an hour, and then Grant said, "Let's go. This is stupid." So they decided to go back to the tavern, but before they went, Brittany wrote down her number on a piece of paper and gave it to Grant. He never called or texted her. He did not want to ever talk to her again. 2 months later, the company Grant worked for was having a party at a country club near Rockford. He got there a little late and his boss spotted him. He said, "Grant, come over here, sit with us." He sat down and started talking, and then finally someone asked, "Hey, what do you want to drink?" His boss nodded towards the waitress that was approaching. Then she asked, "Can I take your order?" Grant turned around and said, "Oh, well, look at who it is. It's Too Good For You Rockford waiting tables." Brittany's jaw dropped. Now, Grant had no problem with anyone who was waiting tables. He didn't have problems with waitresses. He had no problems with anyone of any job, of any background. He didn't look down on people because of their job or where they lived. He treated everyone the same. But the look on her face was priceless. He actually didn't order anything from her. And his boss asked, "You don't want to order anything?" Grant said, "No, I don't want to order anything from her. I don't want to give her a tip." So he told his boss the story of her being rude to him in the past and how she was judging him because of the area where he comes from. Grant said she was a snob. Plus, he was a little concerned about what she could do to his drink. So he waited a few minutes, got up, went to the bar, and put in his order. After he got his drink, he started circling around and talking to the people. When no one was around him, she came up to him and asked, "Is there a reason why you're ordering over here and not from me?" He said, "I didn't think you'd want to get a drink for a trashy person from Greenville. You're really rude. You were bashing the area where I come from. That's where I live. You were making assumptions about me. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You're a waitress. It's not like you're a trust fund baby or you're a lawyer or a doctor. I mean, you'd still be a jerk, but at least you'd have an excuse for the way you're acting. You're way up here, I'm down here, that's fine. But why you act like you're above everyone else, I don't know. So I thought I'd just do you a favor." She said, "Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Can I take your order?"